Life is changing in Australia as it is changing all around the world. Life is going to continue to change as we deal with the global coronavirus.
His departure comes as the coronavirus pandemic rages in the country, with hospitals overwhelmed in several cities.
La prima si traduce in un pensiero rivolto alle persone che hanno perso la vita a causa di questa epidemia.
Liebe Mitbürgerinnen, liebe Mitbürger, das Coronavirus verändert zurzeit das Leben in unserem Land dramatisch. Unsere Vorstellung von Normalität, von öffentlichem Leben, von sozialem Miteinander, all das wird auf die Probe gestellt wie nie zuvor. Millionen von ihnen können nicht zur Arbeit. Ihre Kinder können nicht zur Schule oder in die Kita. Theater und Kinos und Geschäfte sind geschlossen. Und was vielleicht das Schwerste ist, uns allen fehlen die Begegnungen, die sonst selbstverständlich sind.
Over the past few weeks, we've seen COVID-19 spread around the globe.
在接下来我们的疫情战斗中啊，社区管理防控，这是一个基础。
L'épidémie n'est pas encore maîtrisée. Nous devons donc poursuivre nos efforts et continuer d'appliquer les règles. C'est pour cela que le confinement le plus strict doit encore se poursuivre jusqu'au lundi 11 mai.
Vi skal klare det også denne gangen.
مردم ما از کرونای جسمی سریع خواهیم گذشت. با وحدت، با تلاش، با همکاری، با تلاش پزشکان.
Je partage effectivement ces craintes parce que le Covid-19 risque de contaminer entre 40% et 70% de la population mondiale.
Хотел бы также искренне поблагодарить вас всех, без исключения.
Este desafío exige sacar lo mejor de nosotros mismos, porque como sociedad, como nación, unidos, es que podemos salir adelante. Es muy importante que no sea el pánico quien dicte nuestras acciones.
A very vigilant effort to combat and ultimately defeat the coronavirus. We've been working very hard on this.
Now to some promising signs out of Asia as the U.S. looks for ways to slow the spread of the coronavirus and avoid the crisis Italy is now facing.
La distanciation sociale n'a pas été respectée lors de la réouverture du marché central de Ouagadougou. Il était fermé depuis près d'un mois. Pour pouvoir entrer, il faut porter un masque, se laver les mains et vérifier sa température.
New restrictions announced Saturday night shutter businesses and introduce electronic tracking to keep tabs on people diagnosed with COVID-19.
South Africa's total number of positive COVID-19 cases has risen by 831 to 14,355.
It's one of the largest cities in the world, but the streets of Istanbul are almost empty.
India in suspense, 3 days to go. Government signals relaxations ahead. Modi to address India by the 3rd of May. More relaxed lockdown 3.0 taking shape. After 38 days of national lockdown, 1.3 billion await announcements. What you should and should not expect. Maximum inputs ahead of May the 3rd. India Today's fact-based preview.
Hi everyone, my name is Leila. I'm 24 years old. I live in Paris in France. I am a singer and a philosopher. I've been studying music since I'm 8 years old, and I've been growing up in philosophy because my parents are both philosophers. And I have always been interested in art, in people, in humanity, and I decided to make this documentary about the lockdown in the world during the confinement that I spent by myself for 2 months, almost by myself. I was talking to my clients, to people I work with every day, and I had different vision and ideas from people, and I thought, okay, why not combine everything into one huge video documentary, and having different visions, different experiences, different culture, different people, genders, everything. As well, something that was at the heart of this project was the idea that no matter where you live, in Bangladesh, in Italy, in Australia, You had to face the same crisis, the same economical issues, political, social, health, everything. Everything was affected everywhere. Everyone was affected everywhere, almost. But still, what was important is to try to make something joyful out of it, which is how people lived through it, how people thought through it, how people help each other through it, and make something a bit human out of all this shit. And I thought it was really joyful, actually, to see how people were living in similar ways, no matter how far they were from each other. So I'm actually very proud and happy about this documentary. I spent a lot of time on it, interviewing people, looking at the interviews, working on how to make it also something interesting and where you can at the same time think about it, learn some things, just get interested in, well, people all around the world. So yeah, well, I don't want to speak too much. I will now let the others in the stage. I hope you will enjoy it. Feel free to take some popcorns because the documentary is a bit long, and enjoy it. Of course, feel free to share it, to comment it, to talk about it if you like it and if you want other people to see it.
Introversion.
The unthinkable. Revenir à soi.
Manipulation.
Eye-opening.
Just a trailer.
C'est éveil.
Challenge.
Picture of sand.
Epic.
Meditation.
Challenge.
Time out.
Dilemma. Opportunity.
Adaptação.
Elam Bloué, j'ai 59 ans et demi, je suis pharmacien et je travaille chez Rocket.
So my name is Arnon Shachar. I live in Israel, in Tel Aviv. My job is working in a small cafe.
Guille, I'm from Madrid. I'm an IT manager.
Je m'appelle Aurélien, je suis français, j'habite à Cali, en Colombie, où j'enseigne la philosophie à l'université Univail.
I'm Pega. I'm from Iran. As you said, I'm living in Tehran. I'm a teacher.
My name is Abhishek Shukla and I'm a research scholar in Department of Philosophy, University of Delhi.
My name is Fadi. I live in Jordan, in the capital, Amman. I work in a cultural social center called Jadal for Knowledge and Culture.
My name is Rabi Eid. I'm a journalist from Haifa, Palestine.
My name's Danny. I live in Australia. I'm a teacher and I'm 38 years old.
Eu sou Eloy, moro no Rio de Janeiro, né, Brasil. Trabalho com cinema. Eu sou microfonista.
On a commencé à voir les signes avant-coureurs de ce qui se passait en Chine. Et je dois dire qu'il est fort dommage que notre gouvernement n'ait pas pris des mesures bien plus précoces que ce qu'ils ont fait. Ils ont essayé de dédramatiser une situation. Donc les mesures prises ont été assez tardives. Ils n'ont pas pris les mesures suffisantes en dépistant tout le monde. C'est ce qu'il fallait faire, c'est ce que l'Allemagne a fait. On aurait pu avoir la capacité, ils n'avaient qu'à réquisitionner tous les laboratoires biologiques, les laboratoires vétérinaires, les hôpitaux. On aurait pu faire le dépistage massif. Politique et crise sanitaire, visiblement, ça ne va pas très très bien ensemble.
When it happened, I was in a seminar here in Israel for different times, different episodes with different rules. A few days ago, IKEA opened their store. Actually, my boss at the cafe started this Facebook thing that he put IKEA stickers on his business and opened up. And then many other people in the country also put IKEA stickers on their places and opened.
We started to be one of the most affected countries in the world. With confinement started like state of alert in the country, in which the central government took over the competencies normally distributed around different territories. It was difficult to understand what we actually could do and we couldn't. It was quite open, ambiguous, and so we had to make some interpretations. We can go out for only to buy some drugs and to buy some groceries, and that's pretty much what we've been doing for the last 2 months, I think.
Disons que tout le monde parlait de cette épidémie de façon très lointaine. Et, ça a été très rapide en fait. Ça a été très rapide. D'un coup, toutes les mesures sont arrivées d'un coup. C'était un peu surréaliste. Hein. Ça a été très strict. Ça a été appliqué tout de suite. Dès le 2e soir de confinement, il y a un hélicoptère qui passait sur la ville pour enjoindre les gens à rester chez eux. Il y avait des voitures de police partout. Il y a eu au début, on va dire, un respect total, mais total vraiment du confinement dans tout le pays. Avec mise en place de 2 jours par semaine, tu as le droit de sortir selon ta carte d'identité, selon le dernier numéro de ta carte d'identité. Donc moi, par exemple, ça termine en 5, donc c'est le mercredi et le samedi, j'ai le droit de sortir pour faire des courses. Alors, la particularité colombienne, vraiment, qui est vraiment notable par rapport à ce confinement, c'est que c'est stratifié par classe sociale. C'est-à-dire que, et ça c'est empirique, c'est pas officiel, on s'en rend compte par l'observation et par ce que disent les gens. Tous ces quartiers-là respectent le confinement de façon extrêmement stricte. Parce que les gens peuvent se le permettre. Voilà. Moi, je travaille par Internet et j'ai un petit peu d'argent de côté pour pouvoir continuer à vivre, comme la plupart des gens de ce quartier. Et des quartiers de l'occident de la ville. Là, en Colombie, toutes les villes sont coupées plus ou moins en 2, ou du nord au sud, ou de l'occident à l'orient. Et là, par exemple, toute la partie orientale de la ville, hein, qui est une espèce de ghetto gigantesque, en fait, quoi, qui s'étend jusqu'à l'horizon, cette partie-là, elle est absolument incapable de rester confiné, c'est impossible économiquement parlant. Donc, 1 semaine après le début du confinement, tout le monde a recommencé à sortir et à vivre sa vie. On va dire que dans la moitié de la ville, la vie a repris depuis longtemps de façon absolument normale. Il y a eu des campagnes pour aller chercher des aliments, des denrées dans les quartiers un peu plus riches, pour les amener là-bas, pour que les gens respectent le confinement, mais ça n'a absolument pas suffi.
We don't have like a confinement officially from the government. What we do is self-confinement. If you've been to places which is potentially dangerous, then you have to lock yourself at home for 14 days. And then you can make a phone call. People will bring you food, will give you service if you need. Because we used to have SARS, like, I don't remember, it's 20 years ago, more or less. Yeah. And it was a terrible experience. So after that experience, government had a really good establishment against this kind of urgent virus now. So actually from the very beginning, end of January, the government just blocked. Nobody can come to Taiwan. Since the beginning, because during that time was Chinese New Year, so actually there's a big movement, like people coming back to their house. So actually a big movement. So we were kind of worried. But people love to wear masks here, so we don't feel weird, and that's a big difference between Asian or in Europe. And I have my mask all the time because the government built a team of mask manufacturing super team. So I think the total production was in 15 days increased to 10 times more. So actually, you can download the app to locate in which pharmacy you still have mask. And so you don't have to line up and buy on the line and then go to take it from 7-Eleven. So no need to line up anymore. Until now, from the January till today, we only have 400 people who are diagnosed with the coronavirus, only 400. Imagine we have 23 millions of inhabitants here. We have total 6 deaths. And a lot of people working at home, actually, so you can have internet everywhere, every single spot. So working at home is not the problem.
Aqui a quarentena, né? Ela tá uma coisa muito complicada, porque nós temos recomendações de saúde, né? Tipo, do mundo inteiro, e um presidente completamente louco, que essa semana disse que chega de intervenção, ele quer governar sem intervenção alguma. Assim. Ele não quer democracia, ele participou de atos contra a democracia, né? E disse que é uma gripezinha, barata e que vai passar e que todo mundo tem que trabalhar e que tem que ignorar isso. E tem gente que ignora. Temos esse fator, né, que é bem complicado. O que eu tenho visto são muitos idosos que não respeitam isso aqui, assim. Eles vão pro bar, o dono do bar abre com a porta meio aberta e fica um monte de velhinho bebendo ali junto com o dono do bar. Eles resolveram ignorar completamente também.
School universities were the first public places that shut down, and after that other public places just like cafes, restaurants and parks. At first I think people didn't really take it serious because they thought that it's just like a disease. Just after losing so many people in a short time, people really took it really serious. The city was not just like before. Everything was silent. There were no one at the streets, and there were no rules which forbid people to go out of their homes, but people did it by themselves. Right now, little by little, people are going back to their work, but schools and universities are still closed. I didn't expect it to last this much long because I thought that, okay, just 1 month, but right now it's been 3 months and we even expect it to happen in next year. We think that schools will be closed even the next year. So it's really the huge thing.
In India, it began in the last week of April month, and it was suddenly announced by the government, and people were told that there will be a full lockdown, no economic activities, and no one will be allowed to go outside. Go to the grocery, you don't need any paper. I go to the grocery once in a day to get milk and some bread, butter, etc.
Au Niger, en vue de la riposte à la pandémie du coronavirus, il y a eu un laboratoire fantastique au niveau de l'hôpital de référence à Niamey. Il y a eu 657 personnes testées au Niger.
Jordan, as the rest of the world was surprised by this virus, the government here started to act immediately. They brought all Jordanians from Wuhan. Things were happening really fast. So they closed the whole country, as I mentioned, by the mid of March. They enforced a total curfew. For 3 days, people weren't allowed to leave their houses at all, not for any reason. And since then, they have been updating and changing the laws according to the needs of people. Of course, they did some mistakes, small mistakes, but they were fast in responding to those mistakes, to listen to people's needs and to adjust. So now the situation is that we can leave only for shopping and for necessary things between 10 in the morning and 6 in the evening. After that, we are not allowed to leave the houses. Cars are not allowed. Everything is by foot. I must say, I am impressed by what's going on by the government, only in this aspect. But of course, in other aspects, there are some other problems that are happening.
So from the beginning of March, we are actually living in a kind of a lockdown. They lock down the region we live in, which is Lombardy, because in the region we had more casualties for the virus. And but now the situation is similar all around Italy. We actually cannot go out. We can just have a stroll around 200 meters around our home.
You need to fill a certificate, and you need to have a good reason to go out. We didn't know how long it's gonna be. The first thing I did was I did shop. Like I went to the supermarket and I bought as much as I could. I was afraid, I was anxious.
So just in one day, everything changed.
We are entering on phase 3. That means that we are still in home, avoid social contact. There are measures on the banks and supermarkets of just let enter a few people at a time. I live in Chihuahua, in north of Mexico. I have to tell you that it's a very different from place to place. But in general, these are the measures or the rules from the government that we have to keep on phase 3.
I was in Wuhan in January. About mid-January, I went back to my hometown Changsha, another province city from Wuhan. And at that time, there are some rumors about some viruses, but I didn't pay much attention. Until the end of January, there are news first online about the coronavirus. The first person who announced this virus to the whole world, I think, is a doctor in Wuhan's hospital named Leila Millon. He sent messages in the WeChat group to announce his friend, pay attention to this virus. It's like SARS. There are 7 patients in my hospital get a treating. It's not a usual virus, so everybody pays attention. But then his messages were scolded by his leader in the hospital, and the whole thing went silence until it becomes cannot control at about the start of February. And suddenly the online messages are all about coronavirus, and I got freaked out a little bit. I heard about 20,000 Wuhan people came into my city, so I was quite nervous at that time. The government advertised everywhere, and Chinese people are taking responsibility of not going out. People are staying positive and create their own joy during the quarantine time. Only people with the working certification can go out, and others cannot. And there are people in whole suit, the doctor suit with big masks at the gate, and they are testing the temperature, and you need to scan a QS code in order to have a recording of everywhere you go.
The confinement started step by step, like canceling going to school and universities. After that, malls, public places like cafe and restaurants, until it got to the top lockdown. Cannot go out your house just for 100 meters. These days there is also discussion about letting the students to go to schools.
Il y a tout d'abord 2 sortes de confinement. Il y a le confinement partial. Le temps, c'est entre 15h, 17h de l'après-midi jusqu'à 7h du matin.
So Australia right now has 7,000 cases of COVID-19 and 100 deaths. Right now, because we have such a small number of cases and the government wants to keep it that way, it's quite simple to get a test, drive-through testing facilities, so that they can keep the numbers as low as possible. Any businesses deemed non-essential were also closed. Because of the delay in putting in place full restrictions and having an idea that this would happen, we saw a rapid increase in Australian people panic buying supplies from supermarkets. Everything suddenly became very difficult to access. Restrictions in place, I don't believe, were taken very seriously at first. They didn't close beaches, and then beaches became overcrowded, so they needed to close beaches. You wouldn't have known anything was happening. It was quite a shock.
on était conscient de ce qui se passait ailleurs, mais on n'avait pas vraiment l'impression que ça s'en venait ici nécessairement. Fait que c'est sûr que ça a été un peu un choc quand justement les mesures ont commencé à prendre effectif. Puis les premiers qui ont été touchés, ben, c'est bien évidemment les rassemblements. Donc, étant une artiste de la scène, c'est sûr que c'est pas mal le milieu du spectacle, le milieu culturel, le milieu événementiel qui a été touché en premier. Donc, c'est sûr que pour nous, ça a été un gros choc. Donc, du jour au lendemain, il y avait vraiment juste toutes les industries qui doivent absolument fonctionner pour que la société fonctionne. Il s'est mis à avoir aussi des amendes pour les gens qui faisaient des rassemblements. Ça peut aller... Ça tourne autour de $1,000.
The government of Bangladesh has declared general holiday from 26th March, and the government imposed some restrictions on movement. All educational institutions, factories, shopping malls are closed.
Le travail en home office a démarré le 16 mars. Et à ce jour, on pense fortement qu'après le 11 mai, qu'on ne retournera toujours pas sur le site industriel. Moi, je vis seule, déjà, et je pense vivre seule en confinement a le côté positif et le côté négatif. Négatif, c'est que je vois personne, à part parler avec la famille, les amis, par les différentes plateformes. Et le point positif, parce que je pense aux familles dont les parents travaillent, tous les deux en télétravail, ils ont des enfants en bas âge et donc ils doivent gérer leur travail, s'occuper des enfants, s'occuper de le suivi de leurs cours, c'est pas si évident. Plus de réunions qu'avant, je ne m'en plains pas parce que étant seule, ça m'occupe. Et deuxièmement, on a des labos pharma et pour ça, on est très réactifs. On a des labos pharma qui demandent énormément. Ils ont besoin de nos matières premières pour la fabrication de ce qu'on appelle les médicaments essentiels. Et il y a ceux qui ont commencé à travailler pour trouver un traitement contre le coronavirus.
Well, this has been a very productive time for me, but reading more and thinking more, having time to do things I like, but also it put off quite a lot of pressure from me.
I've been used to work from home, so that's nothing new for me. I'm normally in front of a computer, so I can be here at the living room at my place. I can be in an office. It makes not a lot of difference for me. I used to go out for lunch pretty much every day from the office, but then start having to cook daily, and well, that's actually quite nice because I start cooking several interesting dishes. I improve a lot my cooking skills.
Je me suis renseigné auprès de l'ambassade qui m'ont dit que les vols d'urgence qui revenaient entre Bogota et Paris ne me concernaient pas en tant qu'expatrié. Alors après, sinon, moi, personnellement, par rapport à comment je vis le confinement, ben, je dirais que ça m'a permis de rétablir une routine de travail plus structurée. Ça m'a permis de me recentrer sur moi, ça m'a permis de prendre du temps pour penser, chose que paradoxalement, en tant que prof de philo, je ne faisais plus, quoi. Voilà, même si on ne peut pas dire que c'est une bonne chose d'un point de vue mondial, mais personnellement, je le prends bien.
Right now I'm fine with it because I've started doing new things. I have always wanted to just start and I didn't have time to do it. Just like learning French, for example.
Most of the time I'm spending with my books, and there is not much change in my daily life. I used to go for evening walk, and I'm missing that because now I can see park from my balcony. I sit there, I watch it, but I can't go there. Yeah, in this lockdown, I have a little bit more time to read, to talk with the people.
A mim me afetou bastante, né? Primeiramente por estar longe do meu filho, que é uma coisa que chega a doer. Eu não sei explicar, é muito ruim ficar muito tempo longe assim. Quanto ao trabalho, não tem set de filmagem, então não estou trabalhando e não estou recebendo por ser freelancer.
Je vous dis franchement que le confinement s'est très bien passé chez moi comme au Niger. nous nous entendons très bien. Je demande chaque fois à tous les membres de ma famille de se laver les mains avec du gel. Et c'est important, nous respectons vigoureusement en fait la loi du Niger.
Me personally, I find it a chance to stay home, to relax, to do the things that I wasn't able to do before. I spend my time watching Netflix, following news a lot, and politics and analysis and economy, and trying to understand what's going on. And I write about it. I had published an article or two. I still consider myself lucky that I have things to do and that I have enough money to cover myself for a month or two. For now, until the end of Ramadan, because today is the first day of Ramadan. So the government announced that we will stay the same way as we are until the end of Ramadan, which is 1 month more. Ramadan is a month of socializing, and usually after they break the fasting, they go outside for shisha, for coffee shops to hang out. Now all this won't be available, so people will stay at home, be fasting at home.
We do school lessons with our classroom through internet, and I do yoga, like
yeah, we do yoga
2-3 hours per day, and I do cyclette. I read more than before. I record songs. I had more time to do what I couldn't do before because I was so busy.
We go to the supermarket every 2-3 weeks, so it's kind of not often. And I noticed a little shift from like 2 or 3 weeks before. Before, people were very suspicious and very tense. Now I think people are getting used to relate to others with like the mask. Yeah, they maybe are starting to feel safe with the mask, whereas before it was so strange. They were like feeling so put in danger any moment. Now I feel that people is less stressed, less tense, but it's really very recent. For the few months in the beginning, everything was so stressful and people were kind of rude.
Well, I have 2 kids, so before quarantine we had activities after classes, so we stopped that. We start to like keep doing in a certain way that things, but like adapting to that is like crazy. Yeah, we have to find a way because the teachers are not used to these things. And well, I have my kids in a public school, so it's different because in private schools, they organize like a quick year. I will lie to you if I say it's rather okay all the time. So in general, has been good, but I have times that I need my own space.
A big part of my life is working out in the gym. I cannot go there either. So this is at first a big struggle for me, and I cannot see my boyfriend. I had planned to see him after the winter vacation, longest a month and a half, but suddenly we went through 3 months, didn't see each other.
It wasn't easy for me, first of all, to work from home. I didn't feel it's effective. It took me sometimes to adjust. My apartment in Haifa, actually, I say to myself every day, I'm lucky, like where I live, I have a beautiful view to the sea. I can see Haifa city and the sea in the same time. And sometimes I also do dancing here, cooking also.
Pour moi, les jours se ressemblent, les heures se ressemblent. Je prépare mes cours et mes conférences pour mes étudiants et je le mets sur le site web de l'université, et ce site web a été créé pendant cette crise.
So as a teacher, my job has been considered essential and I've been expected to be at school every day. Schools have stayed open for the most part. Most of what I've been doing is delivering lessons and work to children online. I feel like I've potentially made more of an effort to catch up with people often. In a lot of ways, I think it's shown that we create distance with busyness. I was frustrated by my government's choice to keep schools open and continually address the fact that children are safe without mentioning the many adults that work.
Ils ont annulé tous les événements culturels et sportifs jusqu'au 31 août. Est-ce que pour nous, les gens qui sont dans l'industrie des arts et du spectacle, c'est des gros points d'interrogation. Puis je vais t'avouer qu'on parle beaucoup, ça se parle beaucoup à travers l'industrie de comment on va s'adapter à cette nouvelle réalité-là, autant de réussir à garder la culture vivante, puis à garder justement le divertissement.
Like everyone else, I am also leading a prisoner's life. So this life is boring and nobody likes it.
Eh bien, la France, on connaît, c'est un pays de râleurs. Par principe, ils râlent, sinon on n'aurait pas eu la Révolution en 1789. Et on le voit dans leur comportement. C'est-à-dire, malheureusement, on peut encore voir des gens qui ne prennent pas de précautions. Cette attitude de dire « Ah ben, ça n'arrivera pas chez moi, ça arrivera chez l'autre », et c'est un manque, de nouveau, un manque de respect de l'autre. Dans le monde, eh bien, on voit que dans le monde, les précautions qui ont été prises ne sont pas égales. Et ça, on le regrette déjà en Europe. On parle toujours de l'Europe, mais de quelle Europe parle-t-on ? On n'a même pas une Europe économique, même pas une Europe politique. On n'a même pas réussi à avoir une Europe pour avoir des mesures homogènes, les mêmes partout face à cette crise sanitaire. Dans le monde, c'est aussi, c'est très hétérogène. Tout le monde l'a bien vu que dans les pays asiatiques comme Hong Kong, Thaïlande, Vietnam, très vite, ils ont pris des précautions. Alors, n'en parlons pas des États-Unis, à l'image même de leur président. Alors lui, rien ne peut lui arriver. J'ai beaucoup de respect et je tire mon chapeau à tout ce personnel soignant parce qu'ils sont vraiment confrontés tous les jours à des patients, se retrouver dans des situations parce que les soins intensifs ou l'AREA, ils n'ont pas assez de place, devoir prioriser, c'est-à-dire ils vont prendre certains patients et pas d'autres, mais c'est une horreur, c'est-à-dire alors qu'un médecin ne doit pas faire ce tri, ne doit pas faire une sélection, et ben ils sont obligés de le faire et je suis sûre ils en sont malades de le faire. Et en plus on les a pas aidés, je reviens à notre cher gouvernement, de leur pas avoir donné tous les moyens qu'il faut pour traiter tout le monde.
I think it helped Netanyahu stay a little bit longer.
A lot of lies in the media, a lot of lies the social networks and these kind of things. People are trying to like attack verbally to the other faction. The government want to stay there and it's not taking measures beyond keeping the crisis at bay the best they can. And then some other people is just attacking them for political reasons. And yeah, I think that's complicated.
Português. O governo ele fez um auxílio, né, ao cidadão para meio salário mínimo, né? R$600 é mais ou menos um pouco mais de metade de um salário mínimo. Mas tem umas condições para você se enquadrar. Realmente o salário mínimo é bem pouco dinheiro de comida para um mês, comida básica. Para as pessoas que mais precisam não é. Por exemplo, os moradores de rua estão tendo direito ao auxílio. O Brasil está vivendo uma situação política muito complicada que, com certeza, se não fosse situação de pandemia, ia estar todo mundo na rua já colocando esse cara para fora há muito tempo. Os pronunciamentos políticos parecem um freak show. Ele falou no pronunciamento político sobre limpar a piscina enquanto tem um monte de gente morrendo. Falou que vai ter que morrer mesmo agora. E coisas absurdas assim, né? Vamos usar a nossa criatividade, vamos conseguir de alguma maneira, né? A resistência tem que se adaptar. Sabe-se que tem hospitais já completamente lotados com pessoas morrendo e escolhendo entre a vida e a morte. As coisas que estavam sendo impensadas, porque estava, em teoria, relativamente tudo bem por uma parte da população, estão sendo afetados agora. Com um cara falando que isso daí não existe não, que é para ignorar, depois ele vê que se recusar a mostrar o próprio teste de se teve Covid ou não, e provavelmente espalhou para
todo mundo enquanto ele andava na rua já no período de quarentena, sabe?
No single person working on the street. So we have to close. And actually small shops, they cannot stand more than 1 or 2 months of not regular income. So they just close it. They finish the business. We have to, how do you say that, lay off people. We don't know who to lay off. You just give me a few numbers.
Most of it is about financial issues. At first, people were really worried. Even the price of hygienic products increased. So at first it was like that, but I think Iranian people got used to managing different crises because it's been more than a year that we are dealing with different crises, just like storm last year and political issues. Right now, there are some even associations which are preparing some foods and different things for people who need to be taken care of.
Actually, this lockdown has affected our whole economy very badly. So the people who are involved, who are working on daily wages, these people are facing too many problems. The people who don't have proper resources to sustain themselves for a long, for months, they are not getting proper food, and the people who are staying outside the home, they want to return to their home because no one knows how long will it go. So, and there is no proper transport. People are walking on the road for 100 kilometers, and more than few other people have traveled 1,000 kilometers by feet. Yeah, economically, the whole all kind of economic activities are stopped, and by one survey, 67% people have lost their jobs, and 67 is a very huge number. Politically, there is no proper response because governments have limited resources, limited administration, and the whatever they are trying to provide is not sufficient. Cases are increasing, and we don't know when it is going to end, and we can't sustain for long without any kind of economic activity.
510 personnes positives sous traitement, 127 personnes déclarées guéries et enfin 20 personnes décédées. Voilà le résultat.
Mainly the economic consequences. They are not dealing with it in a good way. All people are not working now, and most of the society here, they work in an unorganized labor, like they do not have any social security. For example, they get paid day by day. So if they don't work, they do not have an income. So it's a big problem for a big part of the society. The Ministry of Health is doing really great. The hospitals, the doctors, and all this sector.
In general, I think that is very bad for economy. I think that is a common thing. In Mexico, we have a problem with the narco traffic. So this is interesting that gangs are organizing, are changing, are adapting to these times, and are making like social campaign, giving groceries and giving medical stuff and to people of the town where they have their business, because they cannot keep with the production, but naming the help have the signature, so people know that this help came from them. It's business, and it's like the politics when there are in campaigns, so it's not different. The police are all attend to the helping the medical staff and to announce on the streets with these big parlance to people that keep in their houses. Activities related to the confinement, so the criminal stuff are increasing. I think that this is going to impact, like making the gap bigger from the people that doesn't have resources and the people that does have. And the hospitals are very in problems right now because they don't have enough space to attend people.
It affects the economy, of course. The Palestinian workers from the West Bank who work in Israel. So they have to go back to their houses because in the West Bank, because now there is no job. And the Israeli army, they deal with them in an inhuman condition and way by throwing them on the checkpoints. And we talk about thousands of workers. In some other places around the world, we saw that some wars or political issue now clamped down because of this crisis. But here it's no continuing. Every day, almost, we hear in the news that the Israeli army arrested Palestinians.
Because this is not Australia's first crisis of 2020. We were decimated by bushfires towards the end of last year and well into this year. And we hadn't recovered from that crisis before this one.
On a un gouvernement qui nous a aidés beaucoup, le gouvernement canadien qui a vraiment débloqué beaucoup de budget pour pouvoir aider ceux qui ont perdu leurs emplois. En 4 mois, il y a eu la prestation canadienne d'urgence qui a été mise sur pied. 2 000 $ par mois qui est donné à ceux qui étaient des travailleurs qui ont perdu leur emploi.
Millions of people in Bangladesh are now under lockdown, like rest of the world, due to this corona epidemic. The first patient in Bangladesh has been found on 8th March. But now, today, on 5th May, the total number of the patient is around 11,000. Already around 200 people have died. So the people are very panicked here. 165 million people live in Bangladesh. The financial condition of the majority people of this country is not good. A big working class, they work in the factories, has badly affected their lives. Although our government is trying its level best to save the people's life, the emerging economy of Bangladesh got a big hit by this epidemic, which cannot be overcome very soon.
Et que les gens soient moins individualistes, que même dans les familles, qu'ils apprennent à recommuniquer, à parler.
Well, for me, the most positive part is that we should probably start thinking again on the things we need with the things we don't need, how important people is, how important is to get the people you love close to you, and also I think people is reflecting somehow about social relationships and how important they are, and also reflecting about what's important for them. But I believe some people can get a little bit less superficial than before. A lot of people is trying to evade from the situation.
For what was good is we have such a good protection result. But what is bad is there's too much distance and people suspicious, suspect each other. People have a time to pause, to think what is really important for them. Everything get a pause, and also the environment get a pause.
Yeah.
The bad thing is think there are people manipulating this virus. I don't think this is a natural thing.
I think the whole world needed such experience, opportunity of doing whatever they want to. As human beings, we are all equal.
There is one good impact of the corona, and that is on the nature. If you look to throughout the world, even the rivers, forest, everything, the whole nature is little bit improved in the quality. We all of us know that one day we have to stop all kind of economic activities which we are doing. We have to cut our travel, because if we are using car, then we are creating too much pollution. Whenever there is any kind of crisis, we get a chance to begin something new.
Il faut, il faut certes se confiner, rester chez soi, mais rester chez soi, c'est aussi être avec les autres. Le respect de la loi est synonyme donc d'ordre, d'harmonie et surtout de santé. Car du point de vue de Platon, la santé elle-même se traduit par l'harmonie au sein de l'organisme. Et la maladie, c'est le déséquilibre au sein donc de l'organisme.
E dentro da rotina de cada cidadão, né, tipo do proletário, não temos tempo, justamente esse conceito, né? Nós não temos tempo para pensar se nosso ritmo e nossas vidas estão de acordo com o que nós queremos, porque nós temos que acordar, trabalhar, voltar, fazer um curso, fazer alguma coisa.
And psychologically, it's not easy. Suddenly, you have to stay home to be with the people that you live with. It's a chance for people to rethink the way that they live. It's a chance for us to see what's going on around us and to reflect about our social system. The health sector is collapsing. The economy is collapsing. So it's a chance for people to think and also to be with themselves and to know themselves. Other positive I can think of is nature. Nature is breathing now. We are forced now to reduce the CO2 emission, which is very important. What is good for economy is bad for people and bad for nature. Now the world is changing, and this is something could be positive, I hope. Depends on us.
Communication too, because we communicate more. We spend more time together. We don't have to rush to do the things. We do it at our time. We manage our time. That is a good thing. There are more time to dialogue with them, with my kids. They speak with me about different topics that I cannot imagine before.
Climate change, nature, little bit recovering.
Je commence par les points négatifs. Un bilan très, très lourd, soit sur le côté économique, soit sur le côté politique, soit sur le côté social. Le coronavirus a donné une occasion de la réunion de tous les membres de la famille. Aussi, il a donné une occasion de nettoyer l'environnement. Cette crise a créé, a provoqué, si vous voulez, un choc sur la conscience, un choc sur la raison, sur l'histoire aussi. Parce que après Corona, ça sera plus comme avant Corona.
J'ai l'impression que la culture puis les arts vont devoir s'adapter puis migrer vers quelque chose d'autre, que le confinement nous fait réaliser à quel point le divertissement, les arts, la culture, c'est des choses qui sont importantes dans une société. Mais c'est sûr que le confinement nous permet de prendre une pause puis de faire une introspection puis de réaliser que en tant qu'artiste, on se définit beaucoup à travers notre art. Mais là, en étant coupé de ce pouvoir de s'exprimer sur scène-là, on n'a pas le choix de réaliser qu'il y a d'autres façons de se définir en tant que personne à part de ce qu'on fait dans la vie. Je pense que c'est un peu la même chose pour toutes les gens qui font un métier qui est relié avec leur passion. Pour ce qui est du beau, c'est beaucoup l'entraide, la reconnexion avec le côté humain.
Besides the brutal phase of this epidemic, there are some blessings also. The first of all, it has dramatically decreased the air pollutions including sound pollutions. So this is the big blessings for the environment. And again, it has given a chance to give time to our family, to myself.
En bénéficie de cette économie locale-là qui devient de plus en plus riche grâce à des pandémies comme ce qu'on vit en ce moment.
Stressful about how the financial state is going to be, and what is actually behind the financial state, which is the chain supplies of food and different things that we felt so sure that we have and are going to have.
Est-ce qu'on sera un jour unis? Est-ce qu'il y aura une prise de conscience universelle face à cette crise humanitaire? Je l'espère. Moi, je l'espère. Je préfère espérer que les choses vont changer, les gens vont pouvoir regarder les autres. L'inquiétude que j'ai, mais une grosse inquiétude, c'est quand ce virus va se propager dans des pays qui n'ont pas les moyens. Je pense à l'Afrique. Voilà, ça me fait peur pour eux parce que est-ce qu'on va être en mesure de les aider pour pouvoir traiter les patients comme les moyens qu'on met en Europe, aux États-Unis ou ailleurs pour traiter les patients?
I'm a little bit worried about the uncertainty of the future.
In general, we want more or less to feel good, to be happy, and I believe that most people, what would make them happy, to be when we interact with people ourselves. Usually, we want to be on good terms with other people. We react with nastiness, with anger, when we believe. When we feel that someone is threatening us in some way.
And it's good by nature. I think it's the society, the one corrupting us. I tend to believe that people when they are born, they have no negative experiences.
Je me place du point de vue de Rousseau. Cette idée que l'homme est un loup pour l'homme a été véhiculée depuis la nuit des temps par les puissants, de par cette idée simple que vous ne devez pas faire confiance à vos voisins. Vos voisins sont dangereux. Sans nous, les puissants, vous mangeriez les uns les autres et tout ne serait que viol, meurtre, violence et vol. Si la société s'est structurée telle qu'on la connaît depuis la nuit des temps, c'est bien parce que l'homme est avant tout un frère pour l'homme. Ce qui compte avant tout, c'est la solidarité.
I think man is a wolf to men. Yeah. Okay. So we are not naturally born good. We try to react or try to perform the best upon the others. So while we have this idea, we try to manipulate the others.
Human being is combination of these two. Power is the thing which is going to take a big role in choosing between these two sentences.
On ne peut pas vivre de la société, comme disait Aristote. Parce que la position de Jean-Jacques Rousseau rejoint celle du philosophe grec classique Aristote. Aristote qui dit que l'homme est par nature un animal politique. Signifie que l'homme est par nature un animal social. Celui qui peut vivre hors de la société est soit un dieu, soit une bête brute. Or l'homme n'est ni dieu, ni une bête brute. Donc l'homme est obligé de vivre parmi les hommes.
Je prends celle de Rousseau. Je continue à penser que l'homme est né bon. Il est né bon par nature. Il y a une dualité en nous, mais il est né bon par nature. Et c'est après qu'il peut devenir mauvais. C'est après soit son éducation, son milieu, soit les événements de la vie.
Yeah, in the past decades, we have been very harmful, very exploitive to each other globally. But this can change because by nature, what we care about is survival. It's not about being bad or good.
I would say that human being is both like good and bad. But if I have to choose by thinking to this crisis, I would say that Hobbes is right more than Rousseau.
I don't know if in terms of good or evil, but I think human being is moved by an impulse of self survival, and that stick out a lot when there is an emergency situation.
During the process of this crisis, I saw too many good people. For example, the nurses and doctors abandoning their family reunion during a spring festival, which is a very, very important event for Chinese people, and go to the front line of fighting the disease.
On the history of the human being, we can see like a lot of bad things happen. Colonialism, genocide, wars, millions of people died. But in the same times, also we see the positive side. For example, now doctors all around the world working together to find a solution for crisis, and most of the people around the world, there is like a feeling that we are on the same ship now. We have to act together for everyone in the world.
Je serais plus à côté de Jean-Jacques Rousseau, mais on peut aussi interpréter cette idée de la peur de l'inconnu, de la peur de l'étranger. Pourquoi vous avez peur de moi? La peur de l'étranger, parce que vous ne pensez pas comme moi, vous ne parlez pas comme moi, vous avez des habitudes pas comme moi, et ça, c'est un problème. Pour moi, en tant que professeur de philosophie, je crois que l'être humain est unique par nature. On se divise par la culture, uniquement par la culture. Et pour moi, je crois qu'il y a toujours un noyau du bon dans l'être humain. Il faut le chercher.
The example I mentioned earlier of people panic buying, of going to the beach when they didn't need to, of taking advantage of more relaxed restrictions to do things that they'd been discouraged from doing, shows that often people will look after themselves before they will think about others. But I think that the idea that I identify more strongly with through this crisis in Australia is that man is good by nature, baking for each other, sending bread around, checking in on neighbors, calling people to find out how they can help. I think for the most part, people have made connections.
Our town, Brescia, it was known because we resisted to the Austrian for 10 days. So it's like the symbol. Yeah, we lost, but we tried, we struggled. So lots of people are sending this image. The symbol is the lion. We are called the lioness, actually, our town. And it's like a metaphor. So we are, as we struggled against the enemy in the past, now we are struggling with the enemy of the present, which is coronavirus. So there is this rereading of history.
Masquerade of paradise or heavenly dark crusade, sweet angel or dark demon, thinking in black and white. Can the devil have a soul? Who said that life needs to be perfect? Who decides that everything has gotta be black or white? Who decides that everything is gonna or not gonna be alright? Conscious or unconscious, wonder follow, wonder love. crusade. Sweet